Right up our first panel with Maggie, Rachel, Elsie, and Nicole. So welcome. Okay. Yeah. Wave everyone, you're on camera. Well, first I just wanted to say thank you so much again for giving us your time. I know you're probably doing the survey this week, and so we really, really appreciate you donating your time and being here with us today. And I'm really excited because, as we were saying earlier, you guys have a lot of different backgrounds, and I would not be able to do any justice in introducing you, so I would just like it to go, you to kind of go down and tell us a little bit about who you are, and maybe where you were pre-Web3, and what you kind of do in the Web3 space.
I'm limited in my tech skills. I'm Elsie, or Nicole, and I'm a blockchain attorney. That just means that I help people in this space navigate the legal implications of what they're trying to do in this space. So it ranges from NFT companies, DAOs, tokens, from corporate architecture to your SEC navigation, to your IP to protect yourself, and NDAs, that kind of thing. Prior to Web3, I've always been an attorney in my career, so I started out in tax law, and then I ran a campaign for a hot minute successfully. And then I got into environmental law, and I was doing Everglades restoration in South Florida, where crypto is very hot. And curiosity kind of brought me into the Web3 space, so I attended some meetings and got to talk to some founders, see what they were doing, and really just got inspired. So that led me into the Web3 space and transitioning my law practice the third time.
Hi.
Hi. It really works.
Hello. Okay. This would not be the first microphone I've broken this week. So, first of all, a huge thank you to the two founders of Blue and your entire team. What an incredible, inspiring story you have. My name is Rachel Wilkins. I am a Web3 marketing strategist, founder of Renegade Marketing, which is a niche agency that focuses on bringing Web2 brands into Web3 and also helping NFT projects to get in front of the right audience. Also founded the Blockchain for Social Good conference, which happened on Tuesday in Brooklyn, with a mission to really just look at real world situations that are happening right now and how we can use blockchain technology to resolve them. Also founded the Web3 Marketing Conference, which was a digital conference that took place a few months ago. So doing a lot of things, I think a lot of us are doing in Web3, wearing a lot of hats. Prior to coming into Web3, which was in March 2021, which makes me an OG, all those years ago in 2021. I am the co-founder of Conception Arts, which is the organization that I started in 2011 with my wife. And we have been helping visual artists to reach an audience without the gatekeeping that goes on in the art world. We produced art events in 14 cities around the US over a decade and helped over 8,000 artists to sell their work. So yeah, Web3 was really a result of the pandemic. Our doors closed on our event business, so I was in limbo and started hearing rumblings from my artist community about NFTs, and I was like, what is an NFT? And the rest is history. That's what brought me in. So really glad to be here. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Nicole. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a mom of 2, and I founded a NFT project called Asian. So this is how it looks like. I'm going to show you my NFT. This is how she looks like. This is Asian NFT. There we go. Yeah, so going back, so how I even jumped onto the space is that when I was 16, I invested in Bitcoin. So back then, it was 2013, so I'm a Bitcoin OG. Yeah, so I bought Bitcoin when it was $80. I was just that weird kid that has Bitcoins, and people just look at me and, like, oh, because I told my friends, I said, oh, I took all my money out to buy Bitcoins. So how I just stumbled across that Bitcoin is that I was on Google, and I saw this article. It is the future of currency, and it's not Bitcoin. So back then, when I was 16, I have no idea what it is. I was like, okay, that's good. I only had I don't have much as a teenager. I took out all my savings, and the next thing I know, I went to PayPal. I paid some random person, and he just sent me Bitcoin. And then, and then later on, I forgot about it. And a couple of months later, it went up to like 3,000 at one point. So I was like, and then I opened my account. I was like, oh no, like it actually went up so much. And then I didn't know how to sell back then because back then you don't have like an exchange. So then later on I figured it out like a dodgy way. And I took out the money and I bought my first Chanel bag. So I'm a huge Chanel bag collector. So at 16, then all my friends were like, wow, you bought yourself a Chanel bag. And later on I started to get to know more about, crypto, the market, how the money works, how the world works, and, all these stuff like that. So then ever since I've always been into the space. Then later on I started Bitcoin mining. So back then nobody mined Bitcoin, and I realized that the electricity in Malaysia was so much cheaper. So I bought a few machines and I started mining Bitcoin. And then the market crashed with China ban, India ban, all the bans. And then I went to uni and college in Melbourne. I lived there for 5 years. And then later on the pandemic happened. I moved back because I realized that, because I have 2 kids. So, nanny in Malaysia is so much cheaper, right? So I moved back. And also, being close to my family as well. So that happened. Then later on the pandemic happened and the NFT market started booming. And back then, because I just had my second child, I was home. Then I discovered, CryptoPunks and Bored Apes. So I have friends that minted Bored Apes and had CryptoPunks back then, but I didn't mint any because I was like, I don't want an ape. So later on I discovered that, because I had other cute projects like cool cats and all those cute ones. And I was in the Discord, and when I had my name as Nicole, yeah, because that's my Chinese name, people would actually call me out. They would tag them off and like, oh, there's a girl here, kick her out. And I realized that this is insane. Like, why is girls or Asian girls not welcome in this space? And back then, because it was so male dominated, this was I think around March back then, last year, March. Then I was mad. I exited all the groups. I sold all my NFTs, and then I discovered that there was World of Women, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is it. So I bought World of Women. Then I discovered that, there are so many women in the space. And there are also a lot of guys that supported women to jump on the space. And I feel really inclusive in that community. But then at the same time, I looked at the traits, and there wasn't a lot of Asian traits in World of Women. So that is what inspired me to start my own Asian. So Asian literally means Asian with an 8. Because if you know in the Asian culture, 8 means like prosperity, luck, wealth, all the good stuff. So even with our NFT project, we have 8. So the more 8, the better, basically. Then that happened. So I gathered a team. So we started with three co-founders. Then later on, we minted on December 2000, last year December, and we sold out 14 days after. So we were trending on OpenSea for 7 days, and Steve IOP was one of our largest holders. He still holds it. So he holds about 35 Asian, and he even mentioned like Asian during some of his like event. He was like, "Oh, buy Asian!" And so that happens, and then ever since, okay, it has only been 5 months in the space, but the people that I've met, it was really incredible. Like people like Randy Zuckerberg is our advisor. So Mark Zuckerberg, because we're goodness sisters, she's our advisor, and then our rarest piece was owned by Matt Higgins, so from Shark Tank. So that's really amazing. People that I watch on television, I can actually call them like and this is insane. This is why I love this space, because we are all equal, regardless of where we are, who we are. So yeah, I would love to share more about my experience. At the same time, I think we should talk, because I'm exploring more of IPs and also marketing definitely. So maybe we can look something else. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you everyone for sharing a little bit about your background. Let's just say like your life before and your life now. Because if anyone here is in Web3 or new, if you're newer to Web3, prepare yourself. It is a rabbit hole that you fall down and you never get out. So, that's why it's your old life and your new life. And speaking of like the old life, new life. I know when a lot of people, we talk a lot about Web 2, Web 3, Web 2, Web 3. And for a lot of people, it can be jargon. Because like outside of the concept of Web 2 being, it's read, write, and Web 3 being read, write,